under the pale moonlight. Vinny and Phil bring the shadows to life. Tales of the ghostly whispers in the night. Bigfoot and aliens ready for the strife. The darkness thickens, the air is cold. Haunting stories waiting to unfold. Supernatural Sundays, the veil is thin. Join us in the chaos, let the night begin. With every whisper and each chilling tale, dare to believe where shadows prevail. EVPs echo through the haunted trees. Demons lurk as the chill hits with ease. But the caps rolling with guests to amaze. Cryptids and spirits were lost in the haze. Northmen in the foliage, watch your back. Dogmen prowling, ready to attack. Supernatural Sundays, the veil is thin. Join us in the chaos, let the night begin. With every whisper and each chilling tale, dare to believe where shadows prevail. Moving in the foliage, watch your back. Through the prowling, ready to attack. Supernatural Sundays, the veil is thin. Join us in the chaos, let the night begin. With every whisper and each chilling tale, dare to believe where shadows prevail. So tune in next week, fear in your soul. Darkness awaits, let the stories unfold.
How's everybody doing tonight? On this March 14th, Supernatural Sundays. Welcome to the show, program, podcast extraordinaire. We got a few little things for this week. Last week we did a live over at Pilot Knob Cemetery over in Marion, Kentucky. Lots of fun over there. I think it's the fourth time we've been to that cemetery. First place I ever got a Class B EVP. We also got a nice shadow. I would call it a shadow woman over there at that cemetery. And ever since that happened, I keep wanting to go back. Once you've had some activity somewhere, you're like, oh, maybe it'll happen again. So we go back and try again. Uh, I'm going to show you a couple pictures. This was the first time we went. I don't know if you can see my mouse or not, but it was 1:30 a.m. That's a full moonlight with an iPhone 12. And if you look, I was standing there, and my recorder died. And if you look right in front of me, you see this like looks like a shadow of like looks like a lady standing there, like you know, talking to me or something. We think her name might be Amelia because equipment kept saying Amelia, and there's no one named Amelia buried there. So I had him take 10 more pictures just to make sure it wasn't a reflection of the moonlight or something like that. So here's the next 10 pictures. Look just like this. There was nothing there. It was there 1 second and gone. Just a kind of a rare capture. Just got to be in the right place at the right time with the right equipment. There 1 second, go. I'm gonna toggle that a couple times. That's pretty cool. You can see. Oh, that's weird. What's going on with my audio? Wow. Anyway, there she is, and there she's gone. Maybe she's coming through. Wow. I don't know. Anyway, got a couple new dolls this week. Got the one in the pink, and then we got the one in the green and yellow with flowers. These come to me courtesy of my Aunt Rosemary. Uh, Funny thing about Aunt Rosemary, her and my dad had the exact same birthday, 5 years apart. So for her fifth birthday, she got a little brother. Kind of cool. And Aunt Rosemary's going through some tough times right now. She's getting ready to have a procedure. She's been battling cancer. I'm sure we've all got family members that have had to deal with that. So I'm going to try to take good care of her dolls. Uh, Prayers for Aunt Rosemary. We've got a K2, a couple K2 meters. I got some cat balls over here just to see if there's any kind of attachments with these dolls. If there's not, I'll probably hang on to them since they're my aunt's dolls. I've got some other dolls that I will probably pass on to some new owners. I'm starting to get quite a collection. Gaming Girl says I have a problem. I go to auctions, rummage sales, family reunion, come home with dolls. So, if anybody's looking for a nice porcelain doll, let me know. I'll probably hook you up. So, this week, I can get my computer to work here. See what's going on here. Trying to pull up my videos. Okay, here we go. Maybe not. Well, my StreamYard is doing something weird this week. Here we go. What's going on? And my screen is stuck, people. But we'll see if we can get into the supernatural news this week. I'm gonna see if I can figure this out. You know, it's paranormal when you have something technical goes wrong every time. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get this thing working. Can't get my videos. Screen's stuck. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get down there. Not sure what's going on. Well, my whole screen's doing something weird. Let's see if this will fix it. I think we've got a glitch in our system. Because now my videos just disappeared. It's weird. Let's try this again. Hold on. Let me go try something. It wouldn't be paranormal if something did mess up. Got a lot of videos to show you guys this week. Can't get to them. I think I hit the wrong button. Well, this is odd. Never had this happen before. We may be cutting this episode short if we can't get to our videos. Well, Houston, we've got a problem. I'm not sure how to fix it. Got everything laid out for tonight, and we've got a serious problem here. I don't know what's going on. Can't scroll down, people. I don't know what to do. I can't even get to my videos. I don't know what's going on. There's something wrong with this software. Well, something's wrong with this thing. I don't know what. Can't really go over videos. We've got our dolls over here. They don't seem to be doing much anything. You guys gonna say anything for the folks back home? You got any kind of attachments? The Aunt Rosemary doll? Hello, hello. You guys got anything to say? Or are you just inanimate objects with no attachments or no preconceived notions? Yep. Apparently we've got a problem. I don't know what the problem is. I think we're gonna may have to kill this episode till I figure out what's wrong with this software. It's a software problem, definitely. I've got sound and I've got camera, and I have no videos. I cannot pull my videos up. I don't know why. It's pulling them over, but it's not letting me scroll up and down for some reason. Oh, sorry, folks. I don't know what to do. It was. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is it gonna go now? Wow! It just started working. Well, thank you, supernatural powers that be. Okay, well, let's see if this is going to work. This first video is a girl on. They think she might be an actor. They don't know this is on TikTok. It's a mermaid. She's been doing these like lifelike mermaid videos, and so check this out. Video. So I'm gonna play that again. Look on her neck. She's got like gills on her neck. This is wild. When my videos came back on, I have no idea what was going on here. Weird. I got another video of her just like swimming around, and her hands are webbed like a duck or something. Check this out. Shout out to TikTok. Her name's like Kurag, K-R-U-A-G-E. So thanks for sharing that. If you're a real mermaid, we'd like to hear from you. If you're making mermaid videos, you got some really good prosthetics there. So either way, we'd like to hear from you. I'm sure you've all heard these stories. Back in the day, TVA, your Army Corps of Engineers, different groups were building dams on these rivers to make the lakes, like for hydroelectric or water reservoirs. There's all these stories about giant catfish down there. You know, the divers go down, they're like, I'm not going back down there anymore because the catfish are big as Volkswagen. So this next guy, he's talking about that, and I don't know. Have you guys heard any of those stories? The only catfish I know big as Volkswagen are in Vietnam. They're called the Mekong catfish. They're the world's largest catfish. They get up over 600 pounds. The largest catfish, you know, state records in here in the United States are up around 100, a little over 100 pounds for blue cat. Flatheads, they get up around 100 pounds. Nobody's ever brought one in that big. Maybe they're too big. They break the line, or but there's different stories from the divers. It's always been known as an urban legend. This guy claims, I think it's a restaurant. He's talking about has pictures on the wall. But there's any divers out there got evidence, or anybody hauled one of these things in, I'm sure it would have already made the paper by now. But Anyway, check this out.
Everybody talking about the Volkswagen-sized catfish, that's a myth. There's a picture of them at the Pickwick Inn on Pickwick Lake. There's literally stories of welders who went down and sat on one thinking it was a log to take a break, underwater welders, and it came out from up underneath them. They surfaced and said they were never going back down there again. Those catfish do exist. If you go up close to the dams, and some of them you're in 80, 90, 100 foot of water, that's where them catfish lie at. Volkswagens, they're big as Volkswagens. You know, and people say, you know, well, why have we never seen one? Because they're down 100 foot. They're 100 foot down. It's another reason why I don't really care to swim in the Tennessee River, because I know there's catfish the size of a small SUV down there. If y'all don't believe me, y'all think this is a myth because every dam in the United States has the same story, go to the Pickwick Inn, go look at the photo they took when they were building Pickwick Dam back in the 30s, and go look at the catfish that they pulled up beside a Volkswagen.
Thanks for that clip from Hey Good 84. Shout out to him. Pickwick. Okay, not sure how far that is, but might go down checking that out. For those that are old enough, when he's talking about a Volkswagen, he's probably referring to like the one like on the Disney show Herbie the Love Bug. It's with the old Beetle, the air cooled rear engine Beetle. That's what kind of Volkswagen he's talking about. Just so anybody knows. But then he did also throw in the small SUV. So SUVs are getting pretty small now. So just thought I'd share that out there. Supernatural, urban myth. Is it possible a catfish could get that big? I don't know. I know there's a lot of stuff in the water that it's not in the water, but back in the day, I mean, they're finding pharmaceuticals in the sharks and everything else. So, you know, it's possible. But if you really want to see a giant catfish, get on the internet and look up Mekong, Mekong, Mekong catfish. Those are the world's largest. Second world's largest are in Europe. They're known as the Wells catfish. Those get up around 300-400 pounds, I believe, somewhere in there. But like I say, the biggest ones in the States have been up around 100 pounds that we have as state records. So world record catfish would be the Mekong. So I'm kind of into catfish. I like to catch them. I like to eat them. Make our own jug fishing, drum fishing jugs, that kind of thing. So you see a lot of weird stuff out there fishing for catfish. You never know when you're going to run across some kind of underwater water USO, they call them, unidentified submersible object. And that's what we're going to get into on this next clip. This is pretty wild right here.
On the USS Hampton, which is a Los Angeles class nuclear submarine, and we did operations for a while. And the operations took us in near coastlines where we gathered intelligence. So one time we had to go out and meet a tender way out in the middle of nowhere so no one could easily find us. And we were on their way out there. We were running deep, running fast, and this really loud racket went right by the boat. And I mean, the senior master chief came out of sonar and he said, "Sir, it's a fast walker. It's moving faster than the speed of sound in incompressible water, hundreds of meters below the surface." And that was my first experience ever of an unidentified submerged object. And I looked around. Nobody would look in my eye. They wouldn't speak while I was in the room. So I said, "Sir, I'm going to go back to my little cubicle." And he says, "Fine." And I left. And nobody said anything to me about not saying it, so here I am telling it. I heard an unidentified submerged object with my own ears and felt the impact on the nuclear submarine as it went by. So then later on, after my field stuff...
He called it a fast walker?
Fast walker. That's what they called it. That was their term. Then nobody explained it to me, but it's pretty clear. This thing, water is incompressible. That means it won't mash. Mm-hmm. You can't mash it in any way. And it was moving so fast without turbulence, which is called cavitation underwater.
Right.
It was, to me, it was a physics miracle. I understood immediately that nothing I knew about on Earth could ever do it. I knew it was not us. Instantly knew. Okay, so then in 2008, I was on the Blue Ridge. I was doing a technical classified intelligence operation, so I can't talk about that. But we went through the Sea of Japan in the middle of a typhoon, and the typhoon was crazy. And I was loving it while everybody was sick to their stomach. And I was up on the bridge with the captain's permission, and we were doing like this in about 40 or 50 foot seas, 90 knot winds. And I noticed just all of a sudden the rain stopped. We were not in the eye, we were in the wall, and the rain stopped. I says, how does the rain stop in the eye wall of a typhoon? So I went forward, looked out the window, and about 100 meters above the ship, I could see glowing lights that I had no idea what it was. I couldn't make out the structure. I could just see the glowing lights, but it was blocking the rain from the entire 450-foot-long vessel. Whatever this was huge. So I turned around and says, do you guys have anything on radar? I went, no, nothing. I says, well, you might want to come look at this. They started walking over, and I looked up. As I looked up, the lights got really bright and boom, straight up, because it had twirling air going up. You could see the vortices from the air going up.
I think I had some extensive experience with USO. When he was talking about the submarine going to meet the tender, tender is a ship that attends to the other ships. They bring out supplies. It's like a supply ship. They bringing out food, whatever, medical supplies, bringing the mail. Would come out on a tender, but as far as water being compressible, I'm not sure about that. It's like you can run water through a pump, run it through a venturi and down through nozzles, and pressurize. You can pressurize it like for a fire hose, or you can run it through a venturi and make a vacuum, that type of way. I'm not sure about compressing water though. So, but something moving faster than the speed of sound underwater, I can't even fathom that. And then when he was on the Blue Ridge there, I can't think of anything that's big enough to knock the rain off of a 400-foot boat in the middle of a typhoon. That's pretty crazy. So, you're out there night fishing, see some crazy stuff, let us know. We want to hear from you. I think that's my underwater stories about the Volkswagen-sized catfish and the USOs. I've got another alien clip here. This one, I'm just calling this one Skinny Alien. He looking like Gumby. He's so skinny, this guy. That was supposedly from that report a few years ago in Las Vegas. It was in the backyard. There's still little snippets of that coming out. That's what that was supposed to be. I don't know. Could just be AI. Let's roll that again. It went pretty quick. I think that was Lucky Nail or Lucky Emmanuel. Shout out to him from TikTok. That I think it was just kind of nonchalant walking along. Everybody's filming it, flashing pictures of it. It just didn't act like it was aggressive or anything. It was just kind of chilling, walking along. So next one involves the pyramids, and this just come out today. I don't know if it's just a made up story or if anybody else has heard anything about this. I haven't seen anything on the news. Supposedly, the pyramids are more than just a structure. They also have some kind of its purpose, like a device, like a machine, almost like a transmitter. They're saying they kicked on, so to speak. They're transmitting 33, I think it's 33 hertz, which is the frequency of, I think, human bone density, something like that. Anyway, they're saying all the pyramids all around the earth all of a sudden kicked on and they're transmitting this frequency. And it's sending it to one coordinate out in space. And they think it's communicating with the Starlinks. So I don't know. This is pretty far. This one's out there. But anything new and weird in the supernatural news, I'm going to share it with y'all. So hey, check this out. Well, there was a whole news article in there that disappeared. Maybe something happened to it when all my videos disappeared. Anyway, they're talking about the pyramids activating and transmitting this 33 hertz. They're all on a 33 coordinate ley line, longitude, latitude, ley line, whatever. There's supposedly these lines go across the earth where stuff lines up. And paranormal activity happens along these lines. I think it's supposed to go like through Stonehenge, all these different places. I don't know. Anyway, that's what the whole pyramid thing was about. Sorry, I don't know what happened to the news article that went with that, but having some weird stuff going on tonight. Let's see if this is something. Okay, so this is an EVP that somebody captured in I think their security camera inside their home. So we're going to get into some paranormal stuff now. But if you listen real close, it almost sounds like something's talking. Okay, so nobody was home when that was happening. Thanks to Phenomenon Paranormal for that clip. That was pretty wild. You could hear it like I'm in here. Like something was kind of whispered in a metallic tone. Sometimes on spirit boxes, stuff will come through like that, kind of a metallic type tone. This one is so these people have a camera in their house, like to monitor their dog like when they're not home, see what the dog's doing, and it almost looks like a light goes by, like some kind of light source, and then the dog looks around, and then the camera says humans detected. There's nobody there. Security cameras come up with all kind of weird. Uh, I've seen them like pick up bugs and think there's motion detected and like the bug. But if you pay the extra $3 a month, the AI will work and it'll filter out the bugs. So I usually just look at the camera and go, "Yeah, that's a bug." Thanks to that clip from Haunted Happenings 4, you can see like a light go across when the dog looks. And the dog's like, "What's up with that?" And then it says human detected. There wasn't nobody there, so pretty wild. Uh, okay, this lady's having some really good, intelligent response in a hotel. All right, you ladies take notes here. You watch what this thing does, and then you guys try it. Okay, you can set off this stuff, or you can hit it and make it light up, so we'll know you're there. Okay, all right, you hang in there, ladies.
Hey, tap it if you want me to turn the light off. Ooh. Okay, I'm turning it off. All right. That thing is moving over there. If that's you over there moving the curtain rod, tap it. Oh my gosh.
That was a pretty good intelligent response right there. You ladies gonna provide any intelligent response there? Or? Okay, well, hang in there. All right. So I've got two different videos of someone being scratched, and I've never been scratched. I've been around some people that have. That first picture I showed of that cemetery, there was a young man last year when we were there got scratched. He was saying some things you shouldn't say to a spirit, like, you have permission to come through my body, use my energy, come and touch me. You never give anything permission to use your body. So he got scratched right when we were there, and I prayed for that young man because I don't know what happened, what he was dealing with, but he had a scratch right across him that he didn't have when he got there. He said it was like burning, which is what I've heard before. Somebody gets scratched, it feels like it's burning. So I've been on some other investigations. People got their hands scratched. I had one lady scratched across her chest under her bra. So pretty weird how something scratched her underneath, her undergarments. And then we had another guy got scratched across his back, and he was sitting against a wall. I don't know. People do get scratched sometimes. They say if it's 3, that's bad. It's like it's mocking the Trinity, Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. If it's 3, so if that happens, you might want to go see clergy or have someone pray with you. All right, let's check out these scratch videos.
How old are you? What's your favorite game to play? Do you have a nickname?
What happened? I don't know.
What was that?
Did you guys hear that? Yes. That was crazy.
Okay, so I messed up. Somehow I labeled 2 videos scratch video. My mistake. But that was pretty wild. I don't know what was going on there. Like everything just like started shaking and equipment going off, and pretty crazy. Something had a lot of energy. That was some poltergeist action right there. All right, now let's get into the real scratch video.
Okay.
Hello. So I was down in the cave, and back in that area near the grave that's higher up, I was sitting down there. Ron's phone said my name, Evelyn. Then, sorry, I can't remember his name, the staff worker, said, could you go up there and touch Evelyn? The moment he said that, I felt something like claw grip my back. Not a touch or a push, just a claw grip. And, I freaked out a little. I went down. Dustin was behind me the entire time, saw nothing near me.
I was up in the actual hole itself. And I could see their backs perfectly fine and nothing. Suddenly she jumps up and panics because something touched her.
And
I was right behind her. I literally checked her arm and nothing was there. Followed her back. Saw she didn't touch her arm at all. Once we got to the other entrance of the cave, it formed.
And the entire time it felt like a burning sensation, like when you burn yourself on a candle. It felt like that on this entire area, and it still feels like that.
I've heard a lot of people say that it burns really bad whenever you get scratched. Yeah. My mom had scratches one time. She woke up in the house with them, and she was talking about that it burned all day long. Strange thing is we have a new tour guide here named Evelyn as well. So I'm wondering if it was actually talking about her.
Maybe. But the moment the other tour guide said, can someone go touch Evelyn? Literally within the second, I felt, it wasn't like a couple seconds after, it was the second he said it. The second he said it, I got grabbed and I immediately jumped up.
Oh my gosh. That's
and
crazy.
it hurt. Like, it wasn't like a gentle, it was like painful and then just burning.
Oh wow. That's great. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no problem.
Shout out to the Bell Witch, Kate, down in Adams, Tennessee. Appreciate that clip. The Bell Witch, they put out some pretty good videos. I think they're going to have some public hunts coming up. That's one of our bucket list places, is Bell Witch. We'd like to go down. They have different public tours. You can do private tours with your paranormal group. I believe there's camping nearby. I think there's a place down there you can go on the river. You can, like, go canoeing, kayaking, whatever. So, you can make a whole weekend of it. Go down there and get scratched like Evelyn. I feel bad for her. It's pretty shocking when if something like that happens. You're out on investigation, whatever, and something grabs you and you don't see anything and you get scratched. I've had stuff touch me and I've had static, like hair of my arms go up, but I've never been scratched like that. So that's pretty wild. I think it's time.
I could have used a little more cowbell.
Because you can never have enough cowbell. You got to have more cowbell. So we've got our device, the paranormal Paramoo. It's got a cowbell. It also has more cowbell. So you guys hear that? You hear that? You want to run. At least that's what Camera Girl told me. If that cowbell ever goes off, she's running for the truck. I'm probably just going to stand there in amazement, like mesmerized, probably hypnotized by it. Okay, let's move on into our cryptids. And this is another one of those things, kind of like the catfish story with the giant catfish. There's a lot of stories going way back. People seeing big black cats in the United States. Call it what you will, a black cougar, a panther, a jaguar, whatever. Maybe something escaped from the circus. Like, there's no black panthers. These naturalists will tell you there's no black panthers, and the cougars, the mountain lions, the North American puma does not have the melanistic, genetics to make a black cat. But they're genetics. I'm like, well, if they've never seen one, they never brought one in and tested it. How do they know? How do they know what we're seeing? All we know is there's a lot of people over the years going way back, all the way back to the 1800s, that have seen big black cats. Could it be misidentification? Yeah. Could it be an escaped circus animal? Maybe. Could it be a cat that was brought here illegally or stowed away on a boat or somehow got here and wasn't supposed to and it got loose? But the ones going all the way back to the 1800s tells me there's always been probably a small population of black cats. Just nobody's ever brought one in. It's almost like a Bigfoot, Nobody's standing there with a live Bigfoot or a dead one. That's, there's a couple guys got some exhibits they're going around with, supposedly are Bigfoot, but the scientific community has not acknowledged any of those guys. And the scientific community also doesn't believe there's black cats, big black cats in the United States. Well, here's a picture of one. All right, shout out to those guys chilling in the backwoods. Love that song. Hey, you're just out chilling in the backwoods. You see a big black cat, try to get a picture of it. Wouldn't try to pet it. Don't pet those kitties. Another personal safety message. If you're ever in Yellowstone Park or around South Dakota, around Mount Rushmore, Custer, Badlands areas, don't pet the fluffy cows. Whatever you do, don't try to pet the fluffy cows. It's a bad day. Here we go. Here's a Bigfoot. This Bigfoot's like, he's kind of like doing a peekaboo thing. They hide in the wood, in the trees, and they peek up at you. Always watching.
Okay, this video is going absolutely viral because it's confirmed legit. And this Bigfoot footage here, you can see so much detail on it. You can see the nose, you can see the eyes. This is crazy. This is probably, I mean, other than the Patterson Gimlin film, this is the best video I've seen of a Bigfoot. Like, look at the detail, look at the eyes and nose, the hair on it.
Okay, I saw that. I don't know if it was Bigfoot or not. Looked kind of like a troll, or this looked like maybe some guy need to go get a haircut. He's just kind of disheveled, been out there in the woods too long. Maybe needs to come in and get a bath or a shave. I'm not saying that's a Bigfoot. That guy was so convinced, but it's a Bigfoot, bro. I'm like, I'm thinking it's probably some guy named Dave that got off his meds. And it's probably a feral human or just some guy out there in the woods hanging out. Just I don't know. I don't know that was a Bigfoot, but it was interesting. This one is this could be AI or somebody in a suit. I'm not convinced this is legit, but it's a mama Bigfoot with a baby Bigfoot.
I keep telling everyone that they are real. I mean, how can you deny this footage? I mean, this footage is extraordinary. Like, look at the quality of that.
That was from the same guy's last video. Alien Impact is his TikTok. So you guys want to, crack a cold one and have some entertainment, pop on Alien Impact, see what you think. Think those are legit or not? Pretty interesting. This one is supposed to be a young juvenile Bigfoot fishing in a creek, like catching him a fish. Shout out to Philip Giocco Manton for that video of supposedly a young juvenile Bigfoot fishing. I don't know. It's pretty hard to catch a fish with hands. I don't know if it was a real fish, fake fish. I don't know if that was a guy in a suit. I didn't see any proportions to me that did not look human. The arms weren't dragging down the ground or anything. You would think a typical Bigfoot. So I don't know. It could just be some guy running around out there with a hairy suit on. Could be a very elaborate hoax, or maybe not. I'm not convinced that was a Bigfoot. I'm not convinced it's not something else. So this here is supposedly a video of one up in Alaska, Anchorage, and they're calling it a Yeti because it's kind of a white-looking Bigfoot. But those are supposedly only found in the, Nepal region of the world, up there by Everest. So for one to be in Anchorage, Alaska, making a big jump across the land bridge from Russia over here, you got to go through a lot of countries to get over here to be a white Bigfoot. But maybe they turn white in winter. We don't know. Nobody's ever brought one in the wintertime or any other time. So let's check this out. This is known as the Alaskan Yeti. think a guy in a costume with arm extensions. Because if you watch the arms, the way they're moving from about the elbow down, the forearm, the long forearm, they don't move at all. So I'm thinking it's a guy in a costume with arm extensions. What I'm thinking. And this is kind of interesting. This is some archaeological stuff they're digging up, and they're finding these giant, like, stone tools that shouldn't be there.
This mysterious cave.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I am the director of the Pershing County Museum, and this is our display for the Lovelock Cave.
So do you think a giant actually uses...
Very possibly. That's a grinding stone. Feel how heavy that sucker is.
Yeah, pick it up. She's holding it. Oh, yeah.
Now, that's not the normal size grinding stones that they find all over.
Yeah.
These are bigger grinding stones. Yeah. So the valley used to be a lake. It used to be part of Lake Lahonk. The cave they used predominantly as a storage area, and they would dig giant pits, line it with tule plants, and they would put their stuff in it so they could go back for the different seasons depending on what they were doing, which is why the oldest duck decoys ever found in the world were found in that cave, and that's photographs of it. I have not seen one. They are in the Smithsonian trying to get some back to the state of Nevada. These duck decoys have now been carbon dated. They are over about 2,400 years old. So look at the way they're woven.
So the feathers were preserved and everything?
Yes, the feathers were preserved.
So real feathers, but this is...
It's tule
it's a tule.
It's like a reed.
It's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And they're cut off at the end.
It's impressive. Really impressive.
Yeah. That's the way they were found in the cave. Buried in the basket underground.
So that's how they found them.
That's how they found the duck decoys. Wow. There were 2 digs done. The first one was done in 1911 by this gentleman, Mr. Loud, and he was actually a security guard for Berkeley. They did not have any archaeologists available. He wrote to Berkeley and said that one of the locals had told him the story of the giants, and Berkeley's response was, oh, they must have found some skeletons and came up with a story. So that's the first time I have been able to find in writing where the archaeologists are denying the story of the giants.
Oh, okay.
Of the redheads, the Sitaka. I've been doing a lot of research on it. They were probably cannibalistic. They would hide traps in the trails, and then they could take the bodies. So the story I was told was the Paiutes had a long war with the redheads, and they couldn't beat them. Other tribes had had problems, so they pulled together, had a 3-year war with them where they got their numbers down. The redheads were able to sneak off and run into the cave. So the Paiutes surrounded the cave, started gathering sagebrush. Well, they lit it on fire. Anybody that ran out, their best warrior shot and killed, and they continued it to let it burn until they knew nobody could survive.
So where can people find more information about you?
I have a TikTok that does my ghost stuff. I post all of the ghost stuff that happens in the Marsden house.
See, we don't do ghosts, we just history.
I do both. I do both.
Yeah, I don't do ghosts.
You're just terrified of ghosts.
Yeah.
Lovelock. All right, so we just left the museum.
Time to head over to the cave where it all supposedly happened. I guess it's a real popular spot, so we're gonna go check it out for ourselves and, you know, see if we can find some interesting stuff.
Traveling about 10 minutes, we finally hit dirt road. We shouldn't be too far from the spot now. As far as road goes, you could probably make it out here in a Prius. You know, you don't need anything special out here. This is amazing, knowing that everything we talked about happened right here.
All right, we're now.
That was pretty wild. So the giants out there in Nevada, the Indians burned them out. I got one more cryptid video here. This is all about the hair. Bigfoot's hair samples.
They hired you to go check to see if Bigfoot was real? Flip the whole bill. They said, you can do it at your own pace, own well, we'll pay for everything. I said, not interested. They came back to me like 4 or 5 times. Finally, at the end of a year, my wife is divorcing me. I now have only 50% custody. I have 50% of my life open to do whatever I want. They came at me again. I said, okay, I'm going to shorten it down to from what took 5 years to 5 minutes. Tennessee, the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. There was a man there named Scott Carpenter. Scott, rest his soul, has since died, but he took me into an area in the park. And he said, Dave, this is the part where I've had all kinds of evidence.
What kind of evidence?
Footprints, hair.
Hair?
hair.
So has he ever had the hair analyzed?
So we start talking about it. How can we get a good sample of hair? So I said, with bear, they take bear samples and DNA samples from bear all the time. Let's try this. Let's take some packaging tape, wrap it inside out on the outside of a tree. Put something at the fork of the tree, some kind of food, whatever, honey, something. If they lean up against the tree, it's going to pull the hair out, which we need the follicle for the DNA. Let's see if that works. She says, brilliant. We did it. It worked. In that area, we had tracks. Now, just so you know and everyone else knows, there's hair and fiber experts in the world, and they testify in Superior Court all the time. Like out in the lobby, you have all these different kinds of animals. If we took a hair from one animal and gave it to a hair and fiber expert, he could tell you within 2 minutes what animal that came from, because every hair looks different. So we took those hairs, went to a hair and fiber expert, and they said, well, where'd you get that? And I go, what do you mean? We've never seen that hair before. It's not classified. It doesn't exist. Okay, so that means we're on to something. So then I took...
Does it have follicle? Can they do a DNA on it, or is it just hair?
They did.
Okay.
It did. So I called I was living in California at the time. I called the University of California, Davis, the biggest animal lab in the world. And they said, what do you got? And I explained it. They said, Bigfoot, we're not touching it. We don't want anything to do with it. I went to University of Texas, UC Davis. I went to like 6 or 7. No one would touch it. But then I found a woman that testified in the courts here in Texas as a DNA expert. I call her up. Her name is Melba Ketchum. Dr. Ketchum, I have this sample here. Would you be willing to do DNA analysis on it? Absolutely. It's going to cost you so many thousands of dollars. I go, no problem. We've got somebody who's going to pay. So she goes, okay, let's do one better. Dave, send me the sample. Let me look at it first. I'm going to give it to my hair and fiber expert. They look at it. The hair and fiber expert says, it's nothing we've ever seen, so that's good. So she goes, okay, here's what we're going to do. Can you get any more samples? I said, I have an idea. Let me try.
Even the scientific community don't want to mess with those Bigfoot hair samples. Come on. So, yeah, we got some stuff we're going to try when we go back out doing our cryptid research, packing tape around the trees. It's clear they can't really see it that well, but they grab their hair. So another thing, if you wear packing tape inside out around your pant legs, the ticks will get stuck on it. Another thing I learned recently. So that's about all I got for this week. Y'all make your own assumptions about some of these videos and what's out there. You guys keep looking for stuff. Send me clips. Feel free to call in, send me comments, but I appreciate everybody tuning in this week to this week's Supernatural Sundays. And y'all have a good one. Come on.